All right, Mr. Tom Cantone, the president of sports and entertainment worldwide for Mohegan Sun. How are you?
I'm happy, busy. It's like the old days. This week became like the old days, and the old days were like only 400 days ago.
Yeah, yeah. Things are starting to get a
Yeah.
little bit normal,
You
and
feel the buzz, you feel the momentum. Everything's opening up. There's energy again. There's not doom and gloom. There's optimism, and people are happy and happier. To get back in the game. So, and our for us, we're blessed to have a venue that's one of the top three in the world today, and it really hasn't stopped even through the pandemic. I mean, we were the only venue in America open at one time in the middle of a pandemic. It proved to be a scientific experiment that worked. How to have a sports residency that broadcast to the nation on a regular basis, right in the middle of a pandemic. So, while that was going on, we stayed relevant. We reimagined the venue to turn it into a broadcast center for Viacom to do Showtime and Bellator. And what was just an idea really spawned into a big deal. So
yeah.
we were pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I was talking to Mr. Mazzulli, the commissioner here, a little while ago, and we were saying that I think Mohegan has hosted more combat sports events during the pandemic than any other venue in the world. So,
Yes.
What has that experience been like working with Bellator, Showtime Boxing, and putting on some fights here in this bubble?
Well, we do it on a regular basis with them anyway, but this was a very unique time to be doing it during a crisis. And sometimes crisis creates opportunities, and the opportunity presented itself to hold world-class title fights here in every way. And no fans, but the fans were sitting at home. By I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 million of them have seen live from Mohegan Sun Arena on a regular basis since July of last year. So, it's called relationships that matter, and they work. And we had a great relationship. And when I was sitting in my office in total darkness when we shut down and back in March, I was trying to think of a way basically to get my team back, my crew, and to get everybody back to the family where they belong. And I thought of this broadcast center idea. I knew we couldn't do fans, and everyone was in fear of the pandemic and how to control it, and with protocols and things like that. So we literally had no playbook. There was no way to know how to do anything. So we invented ways to do things. We found a way to do things. I always say there's always a way. And we found a way and picked up the phone, and our friends at Viacom and Showtime and Bellator were ready to rock. So it worked.
Yeah, was that nerve-wracking at all? I mean, I know at that time sports was such a big deal. It was a topic. How is the NBA going to come back? How is the MLB? So you guys were kind of one of the few organizations that was in uncharted territory, so to speak. So
yeah,
making those protocols and everything, how much of a challenge was that in such uncertain times?
Huge, because remember this. You're in the middle of an unknown. There's, with misinformation and information coming at you constantly, and CDC and the government and everyone, preventing you basically from doing anything but stay home. So, there was a big challenge because on the health side, we didn't, we had to create a playbook that didn't exist before. So we created very strict protocols, and so did Viacom. They had their own task force. So we merged our two playbooks. They saw that we were a leader in creating a healthy environment, and with very strict protocols in place, testing and quarantining and all the above checklists that we had to do with cleaning and all of that. So we created a venue that was, like I said, a test case for science. And we tested thousands here during this run and had the lowest positivity rate anywhere. And like I said, at one time, we were the only venue in America open. So, it producing live content. So it became quite a success story, something that we're all pretty happy with that it worked out. But, the partnership with Bellator and Showtime has been fantastic.
Yeah, talking to Scott Coker yesterday, he kind of said you guys are going to be taking the next step and maybe starting to trickle some fans back in starting in mid-June.
Yes.
How excited are you for that? And what kind of goes into the mental side of that whole thing about bringing butts back in the seats?
Well, you have to do it with safety in mind in the beginning, especially. And, you phase it as it goes. So we'll start with social distancing, fan base. And then as time goes on into July and August, we'll expand that into greater fans, more fans. And then we're hoping by August to be 100% capacity.
Agreed.
So, everyone who has been with us, it will be aligned with us, will grow with us along the way. In the meantime, though, we've held, major college basketball tournaments here in we call it Bubbleville. And it was an offshoot, basically, of the Viacom residency. So we spun that off as a show of its own, so, that worked really well. So now we're getting ready to do concerts on top of the sports event. So both sports and entertainment are back in fold at one of the busiest venues in America. And I think, we just announced this week Justin Bieber's tour next year. We've got so much content ready to promote and put on sale. So like I said, it's like the old days, only 400 days ago.
Yeah, normalcy is returning. And Tom, I appreciate your time and good luck with everything.
Oh, my pleasure. We're happy to have the opportunity to create normalcy again.
Sure. Thanks.